I know that it is never going to get better, and that I am being too positive about everything, but I'm trying my best to stay calm and not do anything harsh to myself in front of thousands of people. Everything all around me is falling apart and there's nothing I can do about it, other than watch, as everything new and old I began to love and enjoy slowly become nothing but a rotting piece of shadow nothingness, having the same thing happen over and over and over again, as it all just gets worse. I just want to have fun and be in my own little personal space, but it's never going to happen from the looks of things right now. I live in an awful world where everything just gets worse, and nothing ever goes my way at all. And on top of that, my mental health just gets worse with each day that passes, whenever something wrong happens. It hurts, it really hurts a lot, but I'm trying my best to stick with what I do best. I think this is the consequence of growing up. Everything changes, and the person that I currently was constantly becomes less happy as time goes on, until there's nothing left. I am trapped inside of a rotting cage with no key, unable to leave. The sky is also stained with blood, and the clouds have grown faces. Familiar faces. Faces I recognized. Twisting and interlocking with one another and, as a whole, smiling down at us. Encircling gaping holes through which something was desperately trying to claw its way through. Something that, too, I felt as though I had seen before. But, as though I saw nothing unusual, I moped back and forth along the ocean shore, for that was what brought me peace. Walking along rock, but only truly moving across my own thoughts. A long, droning speech never made, and yet the sea listened contentedly. But my audience reflected the sky, and so it reddened. It reddened, it smiled, and it stopped listening. And with that, I was made to once again be attentive to that which I walked upon. As though the faces above had been waiting just for this, they spoke.
We
thought you would never pay us another next.
And for that, look how it's ended up.
I stopped in my tracks, and it was now I who was the listener. The faces' smiles disappeared, turning into frowns, and then distraught scowls as the gaping wounds they encircled retracted and expanded. I had no response, but the words cut deep. Ticks of thought that saw fit to suck away at my very being. But it was true. I had, in a sense, forgotten. Ideas are fluid, ephemeral things. And each face symbolized a distinctly different idea of a distinctly different day. I remembered them as entities, but their presence, their unseen visage, that I had forgotten. These were faces not of people, but of my story's wilting chapters. In a way, I felt guilt. But, really, what I felt more of was a sense of loss. For I only now remembered what those faces had given to me, and in turn, what I no longer had. Was I being projected upon, in feeling this way? Or, perhaps, I had been truly inundated with a backlog of longing, all in that one moment. Even still, the faces spoke once more.
It hurts so much, you know.
We never forgot. We'll never forget.
We're going to cry.
Their eyes began to swell up, and I came to feel weaker and weaker. The world around me felt as though it became hotter, and as though my very blood was escaping my body through my skin. Such that, in mere minutes, I should have been but a corpse. But I could see. I could feel. Though I couldn't move any longer. Even when it came to cool off, such remained the case, as the sky's red became redder, and the air became thick and unbreathable. I felt, for a moment, that I was remembering much of what I had forgotten. That so much of what those faces represented was rushing back to me. Hours, days, months of emotion spilling forth and filling the very air around me. Whatever I saw, so too did the monster behind the skies, as it withdrew into the dark, leaving holy sigils in its absence. And then, they cried. They screamed, and they sobbed. A downpour of thick, viscous blood came crashing down upon the shore, the town I resided in, perhaps the entire world over. The sea rose and became twice overfilled in a matter of only minutes more. Reality, normalcy itself was bent by the ceaseless flood. And still, I felt, I saw, and I remained exactly where I was. I couldn't breathe, but so too, I couldn't die. My body rose, but never quite to the surface of the blooded sea of tears. my lungs filled with memories, and I saw nothing but red, the silhouettes of those damned faces, and the torn apart shreds of the world I had known. But soon, it was all replaced by only those same recollections, as my eyes came to fail me. I was being taken someplace else. Not a new life, but a life I had lived once before.
You should talk to us again. You should sing our songs again.
You should live once again.
I was reminded of a long, enjoyably sleepless night. One spent discovering the soul. Those same holy sigils decorating my every sight, and teaching me creation. Shifting sands, shifting skies, a shifting moon's 7 prayers. And another, where I looked upon dreams of somebody special. Somebody who, for quite a long time, has embodied my world in a form most pure. Somebody who helped facilitate my discovery, even to the point of borrowing a fragment of their name. Somebody who, even now, rests next to me in a softer sort of form. And one more, a night spent discovering atrocity. Reflexively offering myself to the scarlet rose. Tales of fire adorning a burning smile. That which lets one escape a nightmare of mundanity and cyclicality. I smiled, and they smiled too. And so it shreds. Infernal hellfire is the warmth of this smile. But now, with these memories so vivid, did I remain in the newly reborn sea? Were the faces still sobbing? And one of the monsters pray they couldn't tell. Surely, they weren't contented so easily. But I could no longer feel their outside presence. It felt as though the rain had stopped, leaving only a submerged, dark, and crimson desert, below a sky of returning grins.
You have responsibilities to tend to.
We're still counting on you.
Slip through the sea and pitch upon an island of graven trees.
And with that final word uttered, my eyes opened once again, as I laid across the pristine shore. The blue tide receding, waiting to listen once more, reflecting an azure, faceless sky. I pulled myself up, and took another step upon shoreline rock. What I just explained was my experience in a rotting cage with no key, unable to leave. It's safe to say the uneasy ones who got there doesn't like things like that. I now hold it close to my heart to never give up in the face of overwhelming odds. Then I said to myself, I need to give myself peace. But I do not know how. I will need to practice trying to do better towards myself, but it will be hard, since I am not so good with balancing my mentality and everything else that comes towards me. I just need to relax, and give my mind a break. I just need to let go of the struggle, and save myself from the abyss. My mind rocks back and forth, preventing me from doing that. I began to come at the terms with the fact that I lost a lot of important work and a lot of time, in addition to the physical and emotional anguish from that night. I then took the gun, let out a final scream, and blew my brains out on the open shore. After the suicide, Black appears and says, The next morning, my mother named Carissa went upstairs to wake me up for shopping. She tried to open the door, but saw it was locked.
Alex, open up, please.
She said, but nothing happened. Carissa sighed and went to her room for the key. Sticking it in the hole, she unlocked it and went inside. She then gasped when she saw me. I laid on my bed, my throat slit and my brains splattered all over the place. On the wall to the left was a note from Black.